Hello, beautiful people. I hope you have had a great day. There's a lot going on over here because just finished teaching a class and then went to get a little snazzy for y'all. I'm giving y'all a little, little action with the little hair color and stuff like that. And I'm giving y'all some of these glasses, okay? So I'm going to invite our guest on in a second because I see that she's here. But I always like to tell you who I am in case this is your first time watching, and then also tell you what we do here. So I'm Chisa Pennix-Brown, and I do a show every Wednesday on Instagram Live called Give It to the People. And Give It to the People is really a lifestyle brand. I am a lifestylist helping you to get your shit together, FYI. So just in case this is your first time, now you know what it is. And every week we bring on small businesses, women-owned, minority-owned, black-owned businesses that may not necessarily always get the shine that they need, but we definitely need them to shine because they're already glowing and giving to the people in the community. So tonight I'm going to bring on, she has a wonderful company that is called Soul Drips. Ooh, yes, Annie. So we're going to get all into the sisterhood, into the drippiness, all of it, and all of the inspiration. So she should be coming on shortly. I'm trying to let it go up and let it come up. So once we get in, you can feel free to ask questions in between. If you have any questions that you want to ask, feel free to type them inside the chat. If you have any commentary, feel free to type that in as well. And I see the requests. I'm pressing the view. I'm saying go live, and something's not happening. I don't know if it's not connected on her end or mine, but everything is in here and saying yes, come on in the room. So in the meantime, I just want you guys to think about all of the great things that you can do. So we have this thing over on my other platform called Real Ass Affirmations, which is my podcast. It comes out every Monday at 6 a.m. and it is the shit you need to say to get you through your day. So feel free to jump on and look at Real Ass Affirmations because that's my podcast. We love to make sure that you get inspiration and motivation. And there we go, beautiful. How are you this evening?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I am good. I am good. I'm over here just giving it to the people, giving them a little melanin, a little piece of skin, a little something every now and then.
A little different episode, just a little bit.
Yes. So I want you, just give them a little bit of background about you. Tell us your story.
So I'm Ariane Cecilia. I'm originally from the Bronx, New York. I live now in Atlanta. I've been here for about 15 years. Some people want to call me a peach. I say call me an apple peach because that's what I am.
Come on.
I've had my company Soul Drips for about 8 years, but then 1 year really strong since last year of, COVID.
Okay.
And Soul Drips is a melanated online coffee experience. Hopefully I will be in a space by the end of this year.
Okay.
So what it is that I drip soul into your cup soulfully as per the coffee goddess. I've been in coffee for about 20 years, a little over 20 years. I've done every coffee experience except for Dunkin' Donuts. No offense, but that just ain't my thing. But I love the connection of people and coffee, and especially when there are women who look exactly like me. I love that whole experience where we can just sit down and enjoy a beautiful cup of coffee or tea and just have the most soulful conversation, because over that, that cup of brown, we're having the most soulful, heartwarming conversations about everything from the sun up to the sundown. And it's just a soulful experience. So that's what I bring.
I like that, but I like the way that you posed it, because you gave us a feeling, right? And so when I talk about doing a lifestyle brand, anybody could just get a cup of coffee, right? But you talked about the experience of it and being able to have that conversation and to be able to share it with other people. So it's your way to kind of communicate with other people, and even if you want to use the word commune, to actually come together and then do that over a cup of coffee. Why do you think that that's so important for especially Black women?
Because I think because Black women, just in general, we are the most unappreciated, disrespected species in the world. And I feel like sometimes we have we don't have outlets because we always have to remain strong because we've been through and we go through so much. And, you know, to cry is to show some level of weakness that they think that we're not supposed to have. So to come to a coffee shop and the owner looks like me, looks like you, and you able to kind of let your hair down and relax and really enjoy your me time and fill your cup back up, because that's what I want to do. I want to be able to give you a soulful experience, but I want to be able to give you a place where you just feel so warm and you feel so welcomed, and you know, you're able to take the mommy hat off, the wife hat off, the businesswoman hat off. You're able to just be a woman, and a Black woman at that.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So the goal is to have a space by the end of the year. And I usually wait to prophesy till the end. But every episode, I'm like, listen, I see a vision, and I feel like once we take our efforts and we really say this is what we want, it's kind of like saying that declarative I am statement or that affirmation. And that's why I love affirmations so much. So, you know, when I was telling everybody about real ass affirmations, I feel like there is power in your words. And then when you speak that and you can feel that in your spirit, then you start acting and you start moving in that way. So now the question has to be, why coffee? Like, in the first place, you said over 20 years, but what made coffee be the thing that you've been able to do and then create these experiences for women?
So I've managed plenty of coffee shops from New York here to Atlanta, and a lot of the people on the other side of the counter look like me. But who we worked for didn't look like me, right? And but then when the customer came in and they would look like me, they always had this level of like intimidation, like they felt intimidated by, you know, the ordering process, and just like, oh my God, I don't do this, you know. And it was just like, okay. And I always took my time to be like, okay, so what do you like? Like, what do you want to taste? Like, what are you not afraid of? And I always wanted to make them feel just as special as the ones who felt like it was theirs, you know. So it was coffee for me because it wasn't so much about the bean. It was more or less about the bean is the plus of the two people bringing together to equal an experience. So that's literally why I chose coffee, because it was this one thing that brought people together, because I would literally have customers come in specifically and ask for me. And it was just because I made an experience for them and they loved it, and I made them feel like they were somebody and that they were just as important as anybody else.
And so I'm sure they would discuss it when you weren't there, girl.
Exactly. Because, and then they would make me write their order on a piece of paper. So they're like, okay, so this is what I got to order every time I come if you're not here. And I'm like, but of course it's different, because even though I can write it out and someone else can make it, it was my added energy that made it different.
Hold up.
Yes.
So I just waited to introduce her, and anybody, if you don't know, this is Tammy Faye, FYI, Tammy Tambourine Brown, right? And when people say good stuff and give me all that extra vibe and energy, I just gotta pause them and just give you your praise while we're on here. So she said, I'm gonna write this order down for you. I'm gonna give you this piece of paper, and the next time you come in, somebody else can make it. But guess what? It's still not gonna taste the same because they don't have my energy. You gotta give us the energy to go along with it. That's what I'm talking about. But you know, people, you know, and you can see people that have recipes and it's like they can follow it. It does not taste the same. It's something about what you bring intrinsically to whatever it is that you're doing that everybody else just doesn't have. And I would say even people that are doing coffee businesses, right? And there's plenty of them out there, even MLM companies and everything. So when you did yours, because I've paid attention, you definitely had specific blends, right? So how did you come up with, okay, I'm going to pair this and I'm going to make this and I'm going to name this brand? And I know you took a little bit from New York so that this way you could have that feeling too, you know, no matter where you're at. But what made you come up with the blends that you come up with?
I wanted something. So most of my coffees are specifically, like, I come up with a roast profile that I want. So it has like a specific taste that only my company will have. So I want it to be something that, like, when I sipped it, I was like, oh, this is so good. Like, so I wanted, when I picked out my profiles, it would have to be really, really specific. So when I came up with that stuff, they are the only, like, if it gave you that, like, that goosebump feeling when it went down, then that's what I was trying to do. So I picked certain profiles and said, okay, I want a little bit of cherry. I want a little bit of a floral. I want a little bit of this. So, and I want people to think about, like, oh, I can't get this nowhere. Like, this is everything. Yeah. So then I have, like, my Solachinos. So when people would come and see me, a lot of times people want cold beverages, right? And they want them super sweet and stuff. And of course, I'm coming for the bucks. Period. That's what I'm doing. I'm coming for the bucks. Y'all don't want that stuff. Y'all want what I got. So I came up with Solachinos because I wanted to give people soul on the go. I wanted to give them, you know, flavors that they were familiar with. I wanted to give them something that they're like, I can't get this nowhere. Like, I gotta order it. Like, oh my God, I gotta go all the way to Atlanta to get this and then go back over to New York. Yes, I want to give you something that you're not gonna get everywhere. I want it to come exclusive with your stuff. And I think about everything and most people that I've encountered. And that's why a lot of the times, like, I came up with my own stuff. And you can see, like, this right here. Yep. So these are hand painted by me. Oh, okay. So if you see, like, on some of the bags, this bag in particular has my fingerprint on it. Oh, wow. So I wanted to give people, just when I say I'm giving you some of my soul, I'm literally giving you some of my soul, because I pick everything, I make everything intentional, because I have to be intentional with anything that I do, because it doesn't make sense if it's not. So. But then what that does too is it gives you like an individual art piece. And so I'm sure with your bags, a person could use that over if they wanted to use it. Like, let's say they want to store makeup brushes or pencils, or, you know what I'm saying? They could use it over, you know, after they go ahead and they take all of the coffee out of it, if they wanted to reuse it. But it's beautiful. It gives them something that's artistic to go with that as well. So tell us about the flavors. You told us about the flavor profiles, but what are some of the different flavors that you have? Because I don't really drink coffee that much. I'm gonna be honest. But I do like, so I am the person that you talked about that likes the sweet, because I will tear up a vanilla frappuccino. Like, I that's the one thing out of that I do like. So I want you to come for the bucks. I definitely do want you to come for the bucks, right? Because they need some bigger competition. And I've researched, like, this industry that you're in, and based on what I've looked at, when you look at coffee shops, let's just say the big ones have really about 85% of the market, right? So that 10 to 15%, just depending on, you know, where you're at, that's left, gives independent retailers and independent, you know, solopreneurs like you that avenue to creep in. And then, of course, hopefully you'll be able to knock their numbers down. But I think sometimes, and you tell me if you feel like this, is it that people just get used to the bucks? Or they just look at the brand name and they feel like they have to have it because it's like a status symbol. Like, you know, what do you think about that? No one has created that. No one has come out of that and created something else that was more personal. So with me, I've spent so much time with them, and I refer to myself as a coffee goddess, but I'm your favorite barista. So when I say that, they're like, oh, so you can make this. So when you said vanilla frappuccino, so I have a vanilla solacino. So, and it's like, trust and believe, when you drink it, you're gonna be like, so you stole the recipe? No, that is specifically my recipe, and it's my own coffee that's in there. Everything is like, I make my own syrup. I use non-dairy because non-dairy tastes so much better. And the way I make them, they in half-gallon and 16-ounce bottles, and they last longer in your refrigerator. So you're supposed to, like, if I made with cow's milk, you wouldn't get your money's worth, because my half gallons are $20. So,
Okay.
you know, just imagine if you pour that into your cup every day, that's your, you know, you ain't stopping and pulling up through the drive-through and waiting and then get your drink and it's all wrong. And you're like, oh my God, it was wasting money and time.
Yeah.
But this is giving you everything that you need and more. And it's not only giving you just coffee, it's giving you soul. It's giving you, oh wow, like that's for me. Like, yes. And I personalize every bottle. I write messages on every bottle. So flavor profiles, I have something called a soul mock.
Okay.
And a soul mock in that world. And I name my stuff so people have a better understanding on what they're getting. So a soul mock is pretty much a caramel macchiato.
Okay.
But it's made by me. So when that means it's like, it has caramel, it has vanilla, it's upside down. It's giving you everything that it needs to give. And it's made by your favorite barista, me. So
I love that. So what else? So we have the Solicinos, and then what else can people get?
So I actually have flavored lemonades. So they're called Soulades. So all my flavored lemonades come with actual fruit in them. Fresh squeezed lemon. And they're like, I have a lavender lemonade that's just so amazing. So I have those. So which people go crazy for. And they're just like, oh my God, so you make lemonades too? Yes, because I wanted to, you know, there's a lot of people who don't drink coffee. And
that's true.
So I had to come with something that was just as good. And of course, being in the South, lemonade, it makes sense.
It does.
You know,
it does. Lemonade is good no matter where you're at, though. I mean, as long as it's not, see, and the thing is, I don't like stuff that's too tart, but as long as it's, you know, I think that, you know, really from what I'm hearing from you, it is definitely an experience, but it's also that refreshing feeling, and people don't feel like they wasted their money, like they feel like they got a value out of it. So like that half gallon, would that be comparable to like, okay, and I'm just thinking of it based on Frappuccino size, would that be like 4 bottles, or, you know, like how would that be? Because the half gallon, then you break it down. I mean, I guess it just depends on how much you drink, right? But bottle wise, because your Solicinos are already in small bottles, right?
Yes.
Those are what, 16 ounces?
Yes.
Okay, so those are 16 ounces. So then with the half gallon, you could get like maybe 3 or 4 out of that?
Yes.
Comparable. Okay, all right. Unless you just sit there and you drink the whole thing and then it's gone.
Which some people will do. They're like, this is all me. And the good thing about it is that it can actually be heated up. So if you're not like a cold drink person, like it can, and it'll taste exactly the same way if you heat it up. If you heat it up by putting it in a tea kettle and heat it up, or if you put it in the microwave, it'll still give you the same flavor, and you'll be like, oh my God, like what is she doing? And you know, people always, it's like, you know, some places you go and then like the food is good and you're like, oh, I've had this several places, but it's just the intention people make with their food. Like some people make food and it's just like, I'm just making food. Some people make food with intention and purpose. So, and that's why my drinks are so good, because I make them with intention and purpose. And I just love doing it. Like when people text me and call me, I was like, okay, you got to give me the good stuff. I need it. And I'm like, I'm on the way. Which I'm here. I got jokes.
Yes, got jokes. Now, does everything have caffeine too, or is there some without caffeine? Because I know there may be some people that can't have caffeine.
So yes, everything has caffeine, and that's just simply because like it's hard to get decaf to taste good. So decaf, you can't really, you know, and I tell people, when you get it in that half gallon, you really like the amount of caffeine that you're getting is not going to be as if you drank like a 12-ounce cup of hot coffee. You're not getting that much, because you're breaking it down into smaller portions out of that bottle. Now, the 16-ounce bottle, you're going to get hit with at least 13 grams of caffeine. So, I mean, and it's just as much as like if you drink soda. You know, you drink Coca-Cola, you're like getting that same like, you know, wow factor out of that. Yeah. So it's the same thing now.
So people are going to be like, okay, she's giving me everything that I need. She's giving me blackness. She's giving me melanin. She's giving me taste and flavor profiles. How can I get it at my house? That's what people are going to want to know. So I know you have multiple different things. Can you just kind of give us like, look, I'm not in Atlanta. I will be in Atlanta soon though, right? I might need to meet you when I get to Atlanta, right? But the thing is, if I'm not in Atlanta and I say I need to get some soul drips, how can people get your product?
So you can go on my website. You go as www.souldrips.com. The only thing is, like, when you order those Solachinos, it's a little, you're gonna pay extra pricing for shipping because it's gonna ship cold box. You know, it's gonna come you know, with the ice pack in it and stuff. So it can come like that, and I feel like, yes, go for it. Like do it, because it makes a whole lot of sense. And I mean, it's not super expensive. Like, if you would pay like crazy freight, it's probably between $12 to $15 to send it that way. But it's worth it, because you're gonna save a ton of money on the back end, especially if you're a frequent, Starbucks goer, which I want you to stop doing that. Don't do that. Don't confuse my green. I just love Kelly green out. This is one of my favorite colors. So, but stop going to the Bucks. Stop going to the Bucks. Come to the drip.
Look, but we, at the same time, if we spend our bucks with the drip can get bigger. And I think, that's one of the things that we always talk about on the show, is just building community. Because if you didn't know this existed, people are consistently, looking, and they're saying, can I shop with Black businesses? So when I did a post last week, I put out the thing that said, basically, it's still good to shop with Black businesses. Last year, there was such a trend. And if you notice, and I don't know if people have been paying attention, there was a lot of good Black shows last year, a lot of good Black whatever, right? And now that the vid is kind of dying down and people are going back out into the streets, it's like, yay, it's Black business. But it's nobody, well, I mean, Amazon is doing their thing, right? But nobody is out here like, yeah, we're still for the Black business, right? Like they were last year.
Right.
But I think that, honestly, people still want to spend with small businesses, and people still want to spend with Black businesses and women-owned businesses, which is what we really try to support. Now, there was a comment from Golden Platinum 9 that said, when you look at coffee shops, states have about 85% of the business. Yeah, so when we talk about things like the big companies, they have a good majority of the business that's there. So if we just support our smaller companies, they can grow it and they can take a good market share of that. And that's how people, get to do what they do. Now, have you done anything where you're mobile? So like and I think you have, but where you go to people and you bring things to them. So like if a person wanted to do like a brunch, or if they, were having an event, or if it was a festival or something like that, do you go to people and also set up as well?
Absolutely. So if you wanted to have like your brunch at home and you're like, oh, I gotta have coffee, I don't want to spend the time to brew it, I'll come to you, I'll brew it, everything, the whole 9 yards, because like I said, I'm an experience. And when I say I am an experience, I am my brand. So when I'm going to give you an experience, and I will set up, I've done shows where I was actually a vendor, and just getting, and then surprisingly enough, I end up being the only coffee business, which is good for me. Which is good for me because, less competition. I wouldn't mind the competition, but less competition makes it better for me. But I'll go anywhere, with my Soleils, my Solachinos, my whole bean coffee, and do a whole little setup for you. Either way, yeah.
So basically you could do kind of like, because I'm thinking of it kind of like a wine flight or a beer flight kind of thing, and then have us kind of go through different coffees. Because one thing that I have noticed I love making beverages. Let's just put it like that. So I don't drink, but I will make a good mixed drink. People, I don't know how I do it. I'm just like, throw a little bit of this in there, put it, and then I get my little, my little thing, and I'm like, and everyone's like, oh, this is good. Like, so I love that. But I really feel like you know, maybe people aren't really necessarily doing coffee flights, but there are a lot of coffee drinkers out there. And if you could kind of show them like what goes with what would taste good with something, you know, I think that would be an amazing thing. And just to have that experience of you coming and making things, and maybe even just showing people how to do stuff right. Like, what's the right equipment? You know, what is there something that you do specifically that brings out the flavor, you know what I mean? Just so that this way people can learn how to do that. I think that would be really, really awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
So where you have like so many different ways to have coffee. So when people buy coffee from me, I always say, do you have like a regular drip machine? Do you have a pour over? Do you have a French press? Do you have a mocha pot? Like all these different things will bring out a different flavor profile for the same exact coffee. So you'll get less flavor from a drip depending on how you get it ground, or you'll get more of a flavor from a French press because that's just like the purest way to have a coffee. Because you ground it and then the way it steeps in the hot water and then plunging it, so you'll get more of a flavor. So everything is different. Like when you do a mocha pot is like, it looks like a little teepee, but it's like, it sits on your stove, and the way that it goes, it like literally works down and comes up. So that's pretty much, I gotta look that up. It's a really good way to have coffee. Like it's probably the most prettiest way to have coffee because you actually see it, and it's like, how did that water come from up there and come to the top? Wait a minute, what that doing?
Okay, yes.
And you know, a lot of people have moved towards these K-cup things. I'm not a fan of K-cups, but you know, depending time-wise, then that's good. But to teach people, like if you have a drip, some people get a drip machine and they don't realize like you can set it on a timer. You can put your coffee in there the night before. And then once it's time to go, it's gonna brew, snatch it off, pour it in your cup, you're good to go. And teaching people all these different things, like I have a lot of friends in the business who are so passionate about what they do and about coffee. And I was just on my live at 7 o'clock with a young guy from Uganda, and it was 2 o'clock in the morning in Uganda, and he has his own harvest, and he harvests coffee out in Uganda, which is so good. A lot of people don't know that most of the coffees that come from Africa, they're like these little farmers, and when you buy from them, it takes care of their families. So which is like super amazing. Like you always want to go that route when you find out the origin of coffee. Like when you find out, oh, it came from Rwanda, or it came from Uganda, or it came from, Ethiopia. Like Ethiopia is a huge market for coffee.
I have to switch a little bit because I had a lot of stuff I was doing on my phone today, and so I didn't need us to die. And usually I plug it in. I just forgot today. Okay, let's get that in just because I don't want it to die. Now, just FYI, if you guys are listening, sometimes when you plug in a charger, it can change the sound a little bit. But I have a question from one of our viewers that says, do you make tea too?
Yes. So
okay, I didn't know about the tea.
Yes. So I had a tea line, and I'm actually bringing it back out because there was a celebrity who I sent some teas. I don't know if you know Aaron from Sisters. I sent him like a whole like arsenal of tea, and he posted me on his story probably about sometime last week. And he was like, her teas are so amazing. They're super cool. And it's like, I buy teas and I buy them in loose leaves and I blend them. So I have like a flavor that I want to smell. So I have, like, when I started doing teas, I wanted a tea that represented like a woman. You know? And when you say that, it's like, when you think of like tea that represents a woman, it's balanced, it's sweet, it can be strong, it can be weak, it can be floral, it can be like you smell it, it can be sexy, like you can get in there, be sensual. Like I thought about that and I was like, that's a woman. You know,
Yes.
and that's what I came up, like, I have a tea, and then I came up with a tea for a man.
Okay.
And the tea for a man is called Kingsman. And
Okay.
it's like this brute orange spice tea.
Ooh.
And it like, that was the one tea that he was like, I love this. He was like, I want
Mm-hmm.
some more.
Mm-hmm.
And because I was trying to like gain some traction, but everyone is now like, okay, so where are your teas? And I'm like, okay, I guess we're gonna bring the teas back,
You
because
got to bring the teas back.
I mean, I have one. It's called It's the Melanin.
Oh,
And It's the Melanin is a chocolate strawberry. So
a chocolate strawberry tea.
yes. So
Oh,
it's
I
like,
would be like, okay, first of all, I love chocolate. Okay. I've never had a chocolate strawberry tea though. I feel like that sounds amazing.
yes, yes. And it's so
Whew.
good because you like a tea, chocolate and strawberry. I love that.
Exactly.
So like, imagine like, especially if you add a little bit of like dairy to it or non-dairy to it, and it
Yeah,
literally tastes like a warm chocolate strawberry. Like, you're like, this is
that
just so
sounds
good.
amazing.
And
Yeah,
then
that's
like, I have one and it has made with like an ice wine. So this one, you can literally have it like at night, instead of like, oh, I got to get up early, I don't want really a glass of wine, but let me do
mhm.
this tea. And it has like this grape, like floral, like sexy smell to it. And it makes like, oh, this is so good. I have one
Ooh.
called Green Soul. I have Soul Serenity. Soul Serenity is like one where on a quiet Sunday, and
Mhm.
beautiful outside, and you just want to
Mhm.
sit outside and sip your tea, and it's just giving
Mhm.
life. Yes,
Mhm.
that's what it
Okay, I just want to tell you, you need to just stop it because I need all of that. Everything that you just said sounds amazing to me, and I can tell you, I am that person. I am definitely your type of customer because there's a spot in Charlotte called Amelie's, and it's Amelie's French Bakery. I do not care how hot it is outside. They have a tea that I have to get every time. And I'm just like, if I'm stopping by there, I need this tea. And then they make this like chocolate, I don't even know if you want to call it a brownie, but it's kind of like a brownie thing with this caramel on top. And it goes so well with the tea. It could be 100 degrees outside and I still need that tea. And I'm going to get in the car and drink that tea hot with the air conditioner on. I mean, like, it's that level to where I'm like, when I go there, I need that, right? And then I have another friend that has, they're based in New York, which I need to get them on the show too. Sanctuary Life. And Sanctuary, they have a tea that I bought from them called Afro Blue. And it's a loose tea. And so, you know, normally I don't really do loose teas, but the one thing that I can say, it made me steep it. I had to go get the little thing, you know, I got a little
the
sieve so I
strainer.
could put the tea in so that I could do that. But the tea turns blue. And it was really excellent, right? So it's kind of one of those things where I feel like personally, I feel like tea is an experience. And maybe just because coffee used to give me headaches. And I think the only way that I really drink it is that it's sweet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if it's something that was always too strong. My mom used to drink it, but this was back in the day when Sanka was out, girl. So, you know, she was drinking some Sanka. So I think, you know, yeah, you taste something that your parents drank or your grandparents, and it was just too heavy. It was like it was just too much. But I feel like what you're telling me is at least you should try it, and then you might really like this. Like from what you're telling me, I feel like I can taste things in it, right? Like so when you have a good tea and you get those notes where you could taste and like it's hitting all around your mouth. That's how I feel like your stuff is, and I'm just gonna need to try it. Like that's the only thing I can say is I'm just gonna need to try it. So yeah, we're
Yes,
gonna have to make that work.
it's given what that guy say on that show, Legendary, and he said what did he say? He did what needed to be done. That tea
Uh-huh.
is giving you everything that your life needs and more. Because you know, like I said, like when I blend them, I think about certain things. Like I think
Mhm.
about things that I want to smell and things that I want to, and I think about times of day, and I think about
Mhm.
moods, and I think about a lot of that stuff. So when I buy teas, and I'm like, okay, I want this one to blend with this. Like I have one that has like a hibiscus to it,
I
and
do
it
love
has like a
hibiscus.
Yeah, I have one that has a hibiscus. I have one that has a peach. I have it all, like, but that, like, the Soul Serenity, when I blended it, it has ginger, it has peppermint, but it has crystallized ginger in it. So like it has big chunks of crystallized ginger in it, and it's like when you open it, you be like, "Ooh, yes, yes, give it all the way." I need that. And then I
Okay.
have like the little, you don't gotta look for tea strainers because I throw in a tea strainer for you. And I even give you a note on how to steep it and how long to steep it depending on the tea that you buy.
Yeah.
So I give people the whole little mini tutorial in, in the whole process, because you have to. I don't want people to buy
No,
tea and be like, what am I gonna do?
no, I'm just telling you. So when I'm listening, and I want people to, I like to listen. I talk a lot, but I do listen, very heavily, especially when we do this show. And I always like to bring it back, because it's always, like when they say for the people in the back, somebody didn't hear what you just gave. So let me interpret what you just said. She gave you personas, okay? And so when we talk about marketing and you thinking about who wants your product and why they need it and how you want them to feel, you just gave me the personas, okay? Then let me tell you what she did. She set a scene for us, okay? She set a scene. She said on Sunday, when you go outside and you just need to sip on your tea, you told us where we were at. Now, I feel like we were on Sunday. We had on a caftan, girl. I had a little fan breeze blowing, and you were fresh out the shower, and you just sat there and you just needed your tea, and you just needed just relaxation. And maybe you might have had on some Erica Badu in the background. And I feel like when you just gave me that, you just told me, so this is what you need to do, is get up and blend this tea. On Sundays, this is your new life. Like, this is how you do it. You gave me self-care. You gave me time for you, making space. Like, I just felt all of that. And see, to me, that's one of the things that everybody, they just can't do, because people are just out here sometimes trying to sell a product. But it's more than that. And if people really understand that in their marketing and their branding, I think they would be more successful. So, so now, what's coming up for you? Tell us what's coming up, because we need the teas, so we know the teas are coming back.
Yes. So the teas are going to come back, and I just finished my first book, which I'm super over the moon about. It's probably going to be pre-ordered by September. We're just finishing the artwork for it, but it's a book of poetry. And so that's what's coming up. In the market, in a shop in December. Super excited about that. And I have my lives that I do on Wednesdays and Sundays, the Melanated Coffee Hour. And that is going to have its specific coffee, and it's going to have its specific tea with that. So because it's presented by the Coffee Goddess. So it's going to be something that really represents me, and it represents that kind of movement. So when you said like she creates a scene, yes, I like it's seen in my head. Like the way I think about stuff, it's like when I write poetry, I write a lot of erotica. I create a scene for you. Like I'm putting you. I want you to be able to, like, even if you put it on like audio, I want you to close your eyes and then imagine the entire scene. Like everything is for you, and you like, oh yes,
yeah,
oh yes, okay, all right.
So you need a baby. So basically, you're gonna have a baby making tea too, right? Like,
exactly.
Baby making tea. So yes, you want to have a baby, get this tea.
Yes, I want to give you the whole experience of soul drips, because like some people say, like my brand, but I am my brand. So when I present anything to you, you're getting like ounces of me, because I'm not gonna bring you something because it's a trend. I'm not bringing you something because, like, come on. I don't want to be, and if I become a trend, then, I mean, better for you, because soul should be a trend anyway. You know,
Yeah.
spirituality should be a trend anyway. So I'm all about bringing everything to that to you, because it got to go back to the core. And that's my purpose. My purpose is going back to that core of people. And if I can do it with tea and coffee and a book of poems, then let me get at it, because that's what I want to do.
Yes, I love that. So what made you leave from, because I'm from Mount Vernon, so that whole New York thing, I you know, when I saw your things, I was like, ah, yes, okay, I love it. What made you leave New York and then come to Atlanta? Because you said you've been down there about 15 years. So what made you do that?
I wanted to slow down. I wanted to stop and smell the roses. I wanted to really enjoy life. I really didn't want to raise my kids in a hustle and bustle. I wanted to like literally be able to come into a place and put my feet into wet grass.
Oof.
And it be like, I wanted to feel that sun smack me in the face. I wanted to feel the wind whistle past my ears. Like, I really wanted that for me and my kids, because New York wasn't giving that. Like, New York is like, I feel like New York gives you what it needs to give you. Like, it's gonna give you that hustle in you. It's gonna give you that grind, that like, if you live in New York and you move and you don't have no hustle in you,
something's wrong with you. It is, but you know what? People can't understand it. So it's like when I say, like, it's I don't want to say killing me, but not being able to go home last year because of the vid, I was just like, oh my God. So I would always get to a certain point in the year and I'm like, I gotta go home, because it is something about, it's like once I get to the bridge, this feeling of excitement and going over that dirty ass water. But I'm telling you, I do that water dirty, right? But when you get to that dirty ass bridge, right, and then you get that water, right, it's like I get so super excited. I just cannot contain myself. And then it's an energy. I don't know how else to explain it. And I think that, you know, people can get an energy from anywhere, but it's just not the same. And the thing about it, you could go to New York any time of the year and there's always something that you can experience, you know? So, you know, just, you can go and be in a different borough. You can go and find all kinds of different artistic things to do. And I think it gives you that inspiration that you probably need to be able to do the hustle. So it's like your level of hustle is elevated when you move somewhere else. And it's so crazy because there's so many people that I have interviewed that live here, well, specifically in North Carolina, or that live in the South and that are from New York. So many people that watch are from New York. And it's like that energy that you get, I don't think people really understand that. But it is something to be said about what's available when you move to the South. You know, when you talk about quality of life, just being able to slow down. But I think that when you talked about being the trend, I think you are a trend already. You know what I mean? In the sense of you're doing everything that somebody that's scared, you know what I'm saying, wants to be. So sometimes I think we undervalue like what we're doing. It's like, oh, well, I'm a little business right now. Okay, well, but you got more business, you know, today than you had yesterday, than when you started. So when we give ourselves that permission to be great and to be the brand, I think that that makes us even bigger than anybody else can see. So for me, I'm just saying you are ready to trend. I see all kinds of great things. Now, because I'm hoping the answer to this is yes, any speaking engagements? Because I know you do your show on here. You're doing the poetry. So I'm just seeing that this is going to go into some speaking engagements, but I don't know if you do them yet or if this is something that you even aspire to do.
So this, like, oh my goodness, you just gave me like a jolt when you said that, because I wish I had my book in front of me, because I wrote down today and it says, FYI, you can be a coffee shop owner and a motivational speaker. I wrote that today. And because that's literally my, like that's my goal, because I've been a writer for a really long time, like from high school till now. I've always expressed myself like written wise better than verbally, But over the years, I've gotten better. But I've always just wanted to give people just more than what they think they can get. Like, so I stumbled upon your affirmations, I want to say almost 2 or 3 months ago.
Okay.
And I was in a really like shaky place. And I was just like, I need something. I need something that's just gonna smack me in the face and be like, girl, get it together.
And they definitely do that.
You know, sometimes you don't really have no friends like that. They be scared to like say stuff like, I want you to give me all of it. Like,
yep.
So when I was listening to it, I was like, oh yes, say that, because let me start this again, because she need to tell me off, and she need to tell the other people that I'm thinking about, she need to tell them off too.
Yes.
And it was like every day it was a new one, and I'm like, okay, yes, oh yeah, okay. And it was like, it was giving me so much, like it was just filling and filling and filling and filling and filling. And it was just like, okay, I need this. Like, people don't really understand the affirmations that you give yourself are so purposeful, and when they come from other people, it's like it's just God sent. Like,
come on.
He said, I gave it to this person, but it's gonna fall on your ears and into your heart for it to improve whatever you're not feeling.
Come on.
And I was like, okay, all right, I'm here for it. Send it. Keep on sending it. Keep on sending it. Throw it this way. And I'm like, okay. And it was like every time I felt like some sort of defeat, because as entrepreneurs, you're going to feel defeat. Like, I don't care who you are. You want to get beat up. And I was like, okay, I got to have the real ass affirmation. You know, some people get affirmations and they be so soft with it.
And I'm exactly the opposite though.
First of all, I need you to cuss at me a little bit. I need you to get up on my feet. I'm starting me. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm up at my seat. Okay, say it again. And it's like, I needed that, because that's what make it real. When people are like, well, just look yourself in the mirror and just say, I love me. You was like, look your ass in the mirror and say you love your damn self. I was like, yes, all of that. And I was like, give it to the people. I was like, please and thank you. And I was like, okay, girl, let me do my hair. Let me put some lip gloss on. And it was like, oh,
there you go.
I'm here for it. And I was like,
yes,
because, and it was giving me so much.
I love it.
It was like, every day I was like, okay, I'm writing this down. Okay, yes, I'm putting this on my story because somebody else might need this. And I was like, this is, when it's so real, it gives you everything. But when you said, are you doing speaking engagements? And I thought to myself, like, today, and I was like, I woke up today, I was so excited about today.
Yay.
I was so, yes. And I was writing down, I don't know, you do like, you ever heard of 369? So your manifestation. So I'm writing those and I'm like, I feel super excited. And I'm writing, I'm like, and I was like, what is wrong with me? Why am I?
Yeah, what's right with you? But you know what? I love that, because see, you are telling people, write that down. And then that then comes to fruition. So like, you know how Erykah Badu said, write it down and then shit gets real. Because you manifested it, right? Like, you were thinking about it, but then, okay, I feel like part of the I don't know if you want to say gift, but I like to say it in that way, is to be able to help people understand that they can manifest it, they can do it, and that you are the one that's probably holding you back. You know what I'm saying? So if you think, okay, yeah, I can really do this, even if you fail, okay, so what? Now you know that to do it that way, and then you can flip it to something different. To me, it makes it a lot better. But when people say things like that and you feel it, it's confirmation that you already knew what you were supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, that confirmation, I love that when I'm asking you about it, you like, girl, I wrote that down today. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that affirms it. That affirms it.
Does.
Most of the time, that's all you really need. Is you need to be affirmed on what you are trying to manifest in your life. Some people don't want the full picture. Some people just want to know the colors in the picture. Like, as long as you know the colors. That's all we want. Like, you don't got to give me the full picture. Give me the colors. The brushes will come. The picture will be made plain, and then it'll be a whole canvas out here. So,
Shut it down. Yes.
you know, it's just a process, and I'm learning. You know, you're never too old to learn a process. You're never too good for that. And I appreciate the whole walk. Like, I be excited. I'm like, oh my God. Like, you know how, like, when you know the good is coming?
Yes.
You like, and it's like, okay, I'm finna, ooh. I just, that went,
That's that old kill 'em. Yes.
And it's like, you know, it's women. I put it in this. It's like, when you know you got that fly dress.
Yep.
And it's like, wait till I put that dress on.
Yep.
Ooh, and with the shoes. Wait till I put that on. And then you put it on. And you like, oh, I'm giving.
You know it.
Oh, I'm giving. Wait till I open that door.
Yes.
When I open that door, they're gonna be scared. They're gonna be scared, and it's like you even scared because you looking everything that you imagine that you will look, you feeling.
That feeling is amazing.
It's just like it's just so, girl. You know what I'm talking about.
I do. I know what you're talking about. So I need to ask this question: what would you say is your superpower? Like, what is your? This is what I give to the people. What's your superpower? If you just had one word or one phrase, what's your superpower?
Love. Love. I don't know how to not give that. So, and everybody can't give it, you know? So, and I give mine on purpose. You know, my heart is so in the right space. And I want people who don't necessarily know what love feels or looks like. I want to be able to give them that, for them to experience that. So if I can bottle up the potion and give it to you, that's what I'll do. Because I love everything. Like when people say, well, don't you hate that? I don't hate anything. You know, I was reading a book the other day called The Untethered Soul. And it was saying how to be aware and how to be conscious. And it talked about how sometimes, like, when we're doing stuff and you got like all these thoughts in your head, and it's like, so who's talking? Is it you talking or is it you listening? And you gotta be so conscious to yourself and be like, and it's like, do I really want to hear those things? Are those things from me? And it's like, are the thoughts and things that's saying in your head, imagine that being a person. Would you want to be friends with that person? And I said to myself, I said, nope, I don't want to be friends with her. She is telling me crazy stuff, telling me to do all this crazy. I don't want to be friends with her. She also got me doing all. And it's like, you got to be really conscious about those thoughts. Because your inner dialogue is it has just as much energy as your outer dialogue.
And you know, I 100% agree with that. And that's why, you know, I always tell people, listen, if I'm gonna put something together, I already have 100% that it's gonna work out. I don't need to tell you how. I just know that this is what was given to me, and that's how I move. And I think sometimes when people say, oh, I want to do such and such, God told me, or whoever, did God really tell you that? Or did you just tell yourself that that's what you wanted to do? And then all of a sudden you was just going to make it work, you know? And I'm just like, I feel like, you know, one of the things that we always have to operate in is a state of abundance. And if we do that, then what we'll do is we'll always look at ourselves in a positive light. Not to say that everything always has to be positive, but there will be a view, a picture of ourselves where we can see us how we want to be seen. And in order for us to get there, we know that there's work that has to be done in the meantime. So what advice would you give to anybody that's interested in starting a business right now? Because you mentioned the struggles of entrepreneurship, sometimes the doubt that you have. But if somebody's like, listen, I like what y'all two little cute chocolate brown, you know, melanin cocoaed up chicks is saying, right? And I'm thinking like I might want to, with our glasses on today. Right? And I know you wear glasses, but I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just like, this little green matches the green in my thing. So that's what I was doing today. Right? So when you think about that, it's somebody that's like, I'm not sure right now. So what would you say is some of the best advice you can give to a person who's interested in starting anything? They don't have to do what you're doing. They don't have to do what I'm doing, but they want to start something.
I would say make sure that whatever you're thinking about doing, that it's your passion. Like, your passion wakes you up out your sleep and gets your notebook and gets to writing. You know,
I keep a notebook. They over there. I went through like 4 notebooks yesterday of like, and I was like, let me look at the ideas that I haven't done. Let me look at what I want to do. And I'm like, oh, I did that. And I'm like, oh, we still need to go back to that. So the notebooks, to me, that's an important thing. But back to you writing everything down.
Yes. So write everything down. And when you write it down, it now becomes a goal. Because in your mind, it's just a plan. But when you write things down, it makes it go. It makes it now a to-do. So once you feel like, okay, if I do this, it won't feel like work. It won't feel like pressure. Like, I enjoy it. I'm happy about it. I don't mind being up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning because I feel so good about it. Then do it. Then do it. Stop telling yourself tomorrow. Stop telling yourself, oh, I don't have enough this. Oh, they do that already. They don't have a you. So if they don't have a you, get out there, because what you bring is not going to be what someone else is doing. So, and then when you do it, every day you do it, show a little bit more gratitude to why you're doing it.
Come on, word.
So it's just, you know, like when you say, make sure, and when you do something, make sure it's not a hobby. What your purpose is ain't a hobby. Your purpose is your passion. That's that stuff that like burns in your spirit, and it's like, you know, you're birthing it. So if you're birthing it and you and it's like, oh God, I can't go to sleep. I just like, dang, I really want to do this, but I don't know how. Once you start writing it down, you gonna write the first thing. You're gonna like, that's a whole 6 pages. Because as soon as you write it down, it's just gonna start. It's gonna start flowing. It's gonna start going and going. And 3 months ago, I quit my job.
Okay.
To do this. And most people say, "Well, did you quit your job? Did you have 3 to 6 months of income?" No, I didn't. I had 3 to 6 months of passion. I had 3 to 6 months of hustle. I had 3 to 6 months of like, oh, ain't nobody stopping me. I had 3 to 6 months of I'm doing this. I had 3 to 6 months of dreams. I had 3 to 6 months of manifesting, you know, and that's what I needed. And I had the biggest thing of all, I had faith in myself and in my product and in my brand. And I said, oh, that's it. That's the only reason why. Trust me, I've been through some hurdles in these 3 months.
Yes. Yes.
But
you're still here.
Yes.
But you're not only, and the thing is, not that you're just still here. You're still here. You're consistently talking about your brand. You're getting it to people who can help magnify that. People are seeing it, like, you know, me, and I'm like, I see it. I like the brand. I didn't know you quit your job 3 months ago. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? It doesn't look like it. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like it. And I would say one of the most flattering things that I think somebody can say about an entrepreneur or a business owner is that they can see and feel your passion. And I think that in everything that you said, we can see it and we can feel it. So tell people where they can find you. We're going to wrap up right now. I'm serious. Like, you can see it and you can feel it. Like, that is amazing to be able to do that for people. So tell them where they can find you at. Okay, so you can find me on Instagram. I'm on Instagram like a troll for my own self. So yes, troll me on Instagram at Soul-Drips with 2 S. And you can have my website is www.souldripswith2s.com. And just hit me up. I respond to everybody. Even if you are one of those trolls, I still respond to you, because I got to give you a little bit of this soul and make you rethink your whole process. Oh, okay. Give it to him. And you know, and y'all notice, if you're not paying attention, she colors her hair, so she be giving you all kinds of hair colors over here with this pixie. So, you know, if nothing else, that's another reason to follow. If you didn't get anything else, add that into it too. So I want to thank you, Ariane, so much for just being on here, just sharing a little bit with us. And then before you go, tell them one more time where they can find your show that you do. That's you said it's twice a week. What days and what times can they catch you on Instagram?
So the Melanated Coffee Hour is Sunday at 2 p.m. And then it's Wednesday at 7 p.m. And if you have a small business and you doing some things and you making some things happen, and even if you don't, if you just feel like you want to give some soul, hit me up.
Okay.
My August calendar is filling up really fast. But just hit me up and then we can go live and have something to talk about, because we talk about a little bit of everything. But before I go, I gotta give you your flowers.
Oh.
Because, like I said, if it wasn't for listening to your affirmations, and I don't just say this because we go live, because if you'll see on my page, I don't go live with a lot of people. When I do, I go live with people who've made an impact for me. And you made an impact for me, because had I not found those affirmations and listened to them every day, I don't know where I would be. I don't know how my mind would be, because to affirm something from another woman who looks like me, and there you can see their purpose, it makes it full circle, you know, because everything that I was listening to it was like clockwork. It was like somebody nudged me out my seat. It's time to go. Real ass affirmation time. I was like, period, let's go. Popping them earbuds in, and I was like, yes, absolutely. And it was giving me a jolt every day. So I want to say thank you so much. Like I said, I was so excited for this, because I was like, we gonna give it to the people.
We're definitely giving it to the people. I'm gonna send you some stuff offline, girl, because you know you can't be telling everybody all your business, right? So, but I'm gonna send you a message, and I'm serious. Like I feel like this outlet, and just doing things because you want to do them, you know. And somebody was asking me like, how much is it to be on your thing? And I was like, it's free. They was like, what? I thought you was gonna charge. And I was like, you know what? I could, but that's not. I feel like that's not what I've been told to do. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that it can't blow up and then we charge later on or something like that. But I'm like, the purpose is to just build a community and to let other people be able to shine and share what they have. And, you know, everything doesn't always need to be monetized for it to be good. And I think sometimes, you know, like when you look at how things change, once people start getting money, it's never giving, it may not necessarily always give you the same feeling, right? And some things can be better. But for me, at this point in time, in this juncture, I still want to be able to keep this platform the same way that it is and be able to just, you know, find dope people, because I have not brought anybody on that hasn't been great, that hasn't had a great story and a great business. And, you know, when I pay attention and look at what people are putting out, it was because you sent those messages, because I looked at the brand, because I saw what was going on, that made me say, oh, she'd be dope. Yeah, let me tell her, go ahead and book her time and let's get her on here. So I appreciate you. And for everybody that's watching, make sure if you are watching on the replay, feel free, you can still leave comments. And then we're going to go ahead and post it on the IGTV. And then later on, it will be posted on YouTube. We'll have it up in other platforms as well. And I'm going to share it inside of my Instagram stories, so you can always go and, you know, share and let people see, because the more people that see, then they can order some soul drips. And just know I will be placing an order, okay? Just FYI, because I don't play games, and then, you know, I'm gonna do a little video and all of that. I'm gonna be up here, you know, with the soul with the but absolutely. I think it's amazing. It's amazing, and I appreciate you and your time this evening.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much, and everybody who joined in. I hope you got a little bit of soul. And
yes.
It gave it what it needs to give, because that's
it definitely did. It definitely did. Yes. So everybody, make sure that you always show up and show out and continue to give it to the people. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.